Killing Machine.
Lying here. This is how everything ends. No more for these kings of men. This is how.
So thanks again for joining with another Crazy Killing Machine video. We have our final character creation for our Keyforge RPG, and we're absolutely thrilled to welcome René. So René is one of the players that we've seen probably most out of anybody at multiple Vault tours across Europe last year. And it's fair to say that we've spoken a lot and we've become friends over the year and over the events. So René, I think, was the first name on the list of people that wanted to join the RPG when we said we were going to be cracking on with an RPG. So absolutely thrilled we've got to a point now where we can start. So before we go through the character creation, all I'm going to do, René, as I've done with everybody else, is just ask you to, well, first of all, I'm going to ask you, being as you'll be very evident in a second that you're not a native English speaker, but you do speak English better than I do. If I speak too quickly or Steve speaks too quickly, tell us, because I'm a nightmare for it. But secondly, if you could, introduce yourself, tell everybody a bit about you and your role in Keyforge.
Yeah, as you already mentioned, I visited several World Tours last year, so we met us quite often. And last year, I think in Krakow it was, when we talked about the RPG, we learned that we both have fun or would like to play the RPG. And that was the beginning of the story, that we planned to play the RPG, and today is the start for that.
This is it. It's happening. It's finally happening. I know it seems a long time ago we were speaking about it for the first time. And I think it was just a pipe dream at that point, wasn't it? We didn't have the book or anything like that. It was just if it
Yeah,
happens.
they just announced it, I think.
Yeah,
that's
they'd
right.
announced it, so we all knew we wanted to play it. We didn't think, obviously, we would get the book early, so we didn't know we'd be in this position to be able to play it before everyone else, which is pretty cool. But obviously, it was that point where I was like, I should probably reach out to FFG and see if we can get something sorted, and we did. So
Cool. So
here we are.
same story. So Steve's going to be taking you through the character creation. I'll chime in with really annoying bits of useful or useless information as we're going through it. So I apologise about that in advance. But I am super excited because we've finally got somebody that we can send headfirst into a battle. We've got a big boy that we can all stand behind. So without stealing any thunder, why don't you introduce us to your character?
Yeah. It's a giant, a Brotma giant called Tornus. He has a surname, but he forgot it.
Okay.
I don't know if you want me to tell a little bit about his story.
Yeah, if you want to start
absolutely.
off, go a bit about who the character is and.
Okay. So he's a giant. He's about 3 meters tall. That's like medium for a giant.
Yeah.
He has a lot of scars, and some of these scars are tattoos. You will learn later why that is. And when he was a child, he always dreamt to be the leader of his clan. But in the giant culture, it is so that you have to fight your way to the leadership. Like when there's a leader, there are other giants that can challenge the leader, and when they win, they will become the new leader. But Tornus is really weak, so he decides to step out and to travel the Crucible and become a Vault Warrior, to train, to become more powerful and gain a lot of strength. And he did. He's really strengthful now. He's a beast of a giant.
Good.
I would say.
That's what we needed, I think.
Very good.
But the problem is, he wants to go back to his clan to become the leader. But the problem is, he forgot the name and the location of his clan. So he can't go back.
Okay, so he's just trying to find his way.
His motivation is to find out where he belongs.
Okay,
That's
I like
cool.
that.
Yeah, I like
That's
that.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I just want to add a little other thing in as well. So you won't have seen this, but in the book, there is this whole section on the Brobnar and everything like that, and you've pretty much summed it up quite well. Like the different clans have their own individual leaders, and they have to battle to become a leader. Yes, it's usually the giants that become the leaders because they're the ones that actually fight. Goblins tend to do really well as shaman and like different cultural leaders. But one of the big things as well is there was at one time a king
There's
of
a dog.
the Brobnar
There's a
giant.
dog.
Well, the king of there's a dog. Yes, the good thing as well is there is the Uber King. So he was called Rocket Firefist. Great name. And he was the only Brobnar creature to actually unite the factions and unite all the different clans together. So that might be maybe your character's goal will be like a little bit further that eventually to instead of just leading his own clan because he can't find his own clan, maybe he decides to bring all the clans together and eventually become the new Uber King. So that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a big goal, but
it's a big goal, but that's
I
what
think
giants
you
are
can
like.
accomplish that.
Yeah, they always if you can't find your own clan, why not just rule every clan? That's how I would take it. So yeah, let's go through then the same question I've asked everyone else. So what is the Crucible to your character? What does your character think the Crucible is? What do they think we're all here for?
Yeah, that was a question that was really hard to answer for me. I thought really long about that, and then I found one sentence that's quite accurate. It's like a training ground for him.
Yep.
Because he just travels it and has his. I think the Vault Warriors have like the how it's called. Keyforge player. The player the goddess who like the Archons. Yeah. He joined an Archon and the Archon just ordered him to do things for him, to collect amber for him, and he uses these missions just to train, to become more powerful, to gain a lot of strength, to rule his clan.
Okay.
So
very simple but effective plan.
Yeah, he's a simple man.
Just
he's a simple
get
man.
hench.
And,
just gonna get hench.
and I actually don't think that Tornus has interest in anything other than his clan. Like the whole Crucible, the whole world, he doesn't care at all. It's just his clan. He wants to rule his clan, and that's his life goal. And everything else,
Yeah. Everything else doesn't matter.
But maybe that will change when he becomes the leader of all clans.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll find out then what the Crucible's really for when the Brobnar annihilate everything else.
It's when he makes a bunch of friends and he realizes that it was in his heart all along. And he just that's it, totally changes. Turns really soppy, cool for quiet.
Okay, so let's get into a bit more about your character's stats then. So obviously giants are massive. So they have really good start in brawn at 3, 2 agility, 1 intellect, which fits your character well if he's always forgetting stuff, I guess.
Yes.
2 cunning, 2 willpower, and 2 presence. They have good starting wound threshold, and they start with skills in either... Oh no, they start. Giant starts with a skill in knowledge of culture, and then rank in melee or 2 ranks in resilience. So I guess this is more: are you going to be a fighter or a bit of a tank? So did you go along with 2 ranks in resilience or 1 rank in melee?
1 rank in melee, actually.
Yeah, big fighter then. And then you get a couple of like inherent abilities. The first one is size matters. So a giant is silhouette 2 and increases their encumbrance threshold by 2. So you can carry more things. You're bigger. It means you're going to be harder to hit, but obviously you're going to be easier to hit. But you're going to have advantages in different areas, like climbing up things. You can climb up taller buildings. In fights, obviously you've got the height advantage and different things.
Steve, so we spoke about the encumbrance bit. We've never really mentioned silhouette before. I think this is the first time it's actually been mentioned. So are we all?
We mentioned it a bit.
Did we? Are we? So everybody that we spoke about so far are we all silhouette 1, or I'm assuming
a human silhouette? Yeah,
Pebble
a human
might be
is
less.
silhouette.
Yeah.
So a human-sized creature would be silhouette 1. Stefano is silhouette 0 as a goblin. You as an elf fall just within silhouette 1.
Human, yeah. What are you going to do with the pebble?
And the pebble is silhouette 0. It's the same effect.
Okay, yeah.
So they're just small and they'll dodge things.
So what do you do with
I have to
silhouette
mind my step then.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's just going to step on everybody. So what do you do? Does the difference in silhouette, does that change the roll? Does that change the difficulty of certain things, or does it make you easier
it's
to
different
hit?
difficulties. Yeah, so if there's like ranged attacks against you, it's going to be easier for them to hit someone silhouette 2.
Yeah.
Whereas silhouette 0, I'll say, okay, we're going to add in some negative dice in order to make it more difficult for them to actually hit that. So it could be like, I don't know the exact numbers, but it'll be like for every value below 1 or above 1, you'll probably add 1 dice or remove 1 dice.
Yeah, makes sense.
And we will see actually later. I chose a talent where the silhouette also matters.
Oh, okay, so that's good. We'll go through that. Yep. The other inherent ability is you have Mighty Roar and Mightier Breath. So when an engaged opponent makes a check targeting a giant, as an out-of-turn incidental, the giant may suffer 2 strain and add 2 negative dice to the pool. So essentially, you're going to scream in their face and put them off and make it a much more difficult attack for them to.
There's only one rule with that ability, and I think you're going to know what that rule is with that ability. If you are doing a mighty roar?
Mighty Roar, yeah.
You are doing a mighty roar. You're not getting away with it. 2 things that are happening: character voices and mighty roars.
Of course.
I like that. So you've then obviously picked a career, and one of the careers obviously is Vault Warrior, which you've gone with. So the Vault Warriors. So I'm just going to go into this a little bit. So Archons obviously work similar to the way that obviously you would think with the game. So Archons will randomly decide that they're going to go after a vault because they get like a little notification to say there is a vault hidden here. To get into that vault, they need different. They need to forge keys. But keys are made from amber, but can be at all different levels. It could be a case of you need big fighters because you're going to just be fighting over an area to get the amber. But it could also be intellectual and social things, because it can be that the only way that amber is going to work on that vault is if it's been imprinted with a specific emotion. So therefore, people have to like meditate and do things. So the idea being there is anyone can be a vault warrior. You don't actually have to just be a big fighter, but your stereotypical ones are the big fighters. So the Archons will tend to go to different areas where the vault is, and they will they will generally create an army out of creatures nearby. So they literally just get forced to fight for them. But then you'll have Vault Warriors that will follow those Archons around, and they're like, no, I'm fighting. Like, get me involved. I'm going to be involved in this one. And they literally just live to be in every Archon fight that there is. So that's why you have your Vault Warriors that follow it around. You also have different Vault Warriors become like celebrities. So different fights are recorded, and different like things that might have happened during that fight will get recorded, and then you get different fans that will be like, oh, that's my favorite Vault Warrior. Look, he's fighting again this weekend and stuff like that. So they can very quickly become celebrities. So that's something.
So can I ask René a question then? So you said you were following an Archon. Are you still following that Archon, or have you got any ties to that Archon still?
I don't think so, because my main goal is right now to find my clan. So
that
I basically
you've passed
abused
that a little bit. Then you've done that was in your past. Okay.
Yeah, basically I abused the whole thing just to become stronger, because as you know, in the Crucible, that is as far I read, the Vault Warriors are kind of the most extreme thing you can do in the Crucible, because it's written in the book like the Crucible is crazy enough, but if you want it even more extreme, then you will become a Vault Warrior.
Yeah, you're almost the champion.
Exactly,
yeah.
When I read that, I thought like, yeah, that's the thing my character would do to become stronger.
Yeah. The other thing as well is in the Vault battles, there is like special magic with the Archons where characters creatures don't die sometimes. So therefore, you can be literally in a fight. Like if anyone's read the Bingo Bang Bang stories, the one that they put on the website initially, obviously Bingo Bang Bang's always like in the fights and he always dies or whatever, and he always comes back. So that's why creatures like your character will be part of that, because you can always be fighting and fighting and fighting. There's little risk of dying, so you can always get stronger and stronger and train. Whereas if you are out normally in the Crucible and get into a fight with a massive giant, and
I don't know. I never lost actually.
You've never lost.
No.
Well, you will.
You will. Yeah, it's not the opponents you've got to worry about. We've got a psychotic little gremlin that's trying to eat you as well. So
Yeah, I was gonna say you'll have Stefano just hanging off his foot at some point. Okay, so let's go through the Vault Warrior. So they get their career skills, which are athletics, brawl, coordination, gunnery, medicine, melee, piloting, and ranged. And you get to pick 4 of those to put a rank in. Which ones did you go for?
I chose athletics, coordination, melee, and ranged. I did that
Ranged.
because I thought, I think ranged. Is that wrong?
Yeah, range.
No,
That's
no,
interesting.
okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did that because I thought my character's only strength is his body. So most of the other things were like technical inspired and like sleight of hand things, and I don't saw a fit into my character, so
So you're
I
going
decided
full
to
Hulk.
go that way.
You can throw buses and rocks and everything. Yeah, that's a
Yes,
good idea.
yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. Just don't when you go ranged mode, just stay a little bit in front of me. don't go behind me, because I'm not gonna like that.
Throw a bus through you.
I think my ranged mode is when I throw you.
That's fine. Oh, yeah, that's fine. I mean, you're 3
Everyone else
meters
throwing
tall.
the pebble.
Yeah.
René throwing pebble.
René's throwing everything else. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you. You're 3 meters tall.
So your character then gets some starting gear. So they get to choose between either a one-handed ranged weapon or a two-headed melee weapon. Would you go for that?
A two-headed melee weapon.
A two-handed weapon.
Two-handed.
Yes.
Two-handed.
Two-handed.
Two-headed.
Yeah.
What's a two-headed melee weapon? Yeah.
Yeah, the two-handed melee weapon I chose, but I wasn't quite sure if I have to choose a specific one, because
So you design your own weapon pretty much. That's like, you can either tell us what it's going to be like now or later on once.
Yeah, it's a rocket hammer. I
It's a
already
rocket
decided that. Yes.
Nice.
It's like
Nice.
a really, really big hammer with a rocket to give
that's
it
cool.
more punch.
It's very
Nice, I like
it's
that.
very Overwatch. It's very
Yes,
very
exactly.
yeah, there we go. very Reinhardt.
Actually, I chose my first name was Reinhardt, but
Was
then
it?
I thought,
A bit on the nose. A little bit on the nose. Yeah.
yeah.
So that weapon will get massive and shielding. So you can guess what massive is. It is massive. Just means obviously it's big. And in certain situations will give you some advantages and some disadvantages. Like if you're trying to sneak it into a different area, you're probably not going to be able to hide a massive rocket hammer. The other one is shielding. So with shielding, it can either be that you're like really good at using it for parrying and blocking different attacks, or it could have literally a some kind of disruptive shield around it, so that if people hit you, you can put up that shield to block. What was you thinking there? Are you thinking your character's more of a, I'm going to deflect it, or is it going to be something built into the actual weapon that would deflect some things?
I think most of the time he will take the hits, but when he has to do, he would like to parry with a weapon. So
Okay, yeah. So we'll just say he's good at blocking with it rather than
yes.
the actual ability. You then get some durable clothing, which has bone weave and is spiked. So bone weave means it is literally weaved through with bones. So that's similar to Stefano's. And then spiked. Let's see if it gives you any advantages or if it is literally just it's got spikes in it. It's covered in nasty barbs and spikes, making foes think twice about charging the wearer.
Yeah,
When
yeah. Not the
targeted by a
fact,
melee
not the fact that he's 3 meters tall and he's got a rocket hammer. He's got a few spikes on his armor that's gonna. Whoa,
it's like,
well,
we're not charging him.
yeah, I was fine with the hammer, and I was fine that he's massive, but those spikes.
And Tornus put a lot of effort to this armor because I told about the tattoos he has, the scars he has tattooed. The reason for that is the giants, when they decide who's the clan leader, it's not always the fight because at some point they notice that when they always fight, they will kill each other and they will stand there with no people left. So at some point they said like, okay, maybe we have to take a look at somebody and decide by his look who is the strongest. So Tornus put a lot of work into his armor to look really, really,
Scary.
scary. That was the word I was looking for. So really scary. And to top that, he also tattooed some scars because in fight he's so good. He
It doesn't
won't
get
take
hurt.
many hits, so he don't have many scars.
So he just has to look scary as if he's been hurt.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense as well because obviously, like the different like the leaders don't want to always have to be fighting, but they don't want to be challenged all the time. So they would make themselves look more intimidating and scary, so that people wouldn't challenge them. They're not going to even dare try it. But yeah, going back to the spikes, it does actually have a thing here where if someone attacks you with a melee weapon, you can spend either 3 advantages or a critical success for the person attacking you to just suffer 3 wounds as well. So they literally impale themselves on one of your spikes when they've attacked you. So it just gives you a little bit of a utility there, which is pretty cool.
Cool.
And then you get some utility. So you've got an extra clip, so that'll be ammo if you have a weapon, like a ranged weapon, but you don't. A loaf of ambread, which is Carl's favourite.
Ambread. Good design. Great design.
Or some combat pheromones. Do you want to know what combat pheromones do?
Yeah, I would love to hear that.
Let's have a little read.
Just by ear, I chose the combat pheromones, but I have no
pretty
clue what they do. So
sure that means you can use Mars creatures, and it just so happens we have a Mars creature, so you could just take over Finn for a turn.
Okay, so once used, they help move a warrior into the appropriate mindset for conflict. So, as an incidental, an out of turn action, you can activate the combat pheromones, and it'll add any cool, it'll add a positive dice to any cool or discipline checks for the duration of the encounter.
okay, I take the other thing. My character does not need that.
You don't need that?
He's always in the mood of fighting. What happens if a giant takes some of these?
Combat pheromones.
I mean,
just turns into Fonzie.
I guess the idea would be if you came across something bigger, your character might be scared off, but it's unlikely. That's more like when you've got a goblin going up against a massive giant. They're going to be like, oh, I don't want to do it, and then you have to do a check, and your characters might not come up.
What was it? Combat pheromones or what? Ambread.
No, you get the. Oh yeah, well, it's both an extra clip and a loaf of ambread or combat pheromones. So
yeah, I take the ambread.
Yeah,
okay. I think that makes sense. I think from what you've said, the discipline doesn't make sense because you're always going to be disciplined enough to fight.
Yeah.
Now, next, you get to choose between a flask of Ambrew
for fuck's sake.
or 2 heal tabs. So the heal tabs obviously heal you. Ambrew, it comes in a dazzling array of types, from bubbling potions to refreshing tonics and more, all laced with amber and other carefully selected ingredients. Such is its power that even incorporeal spirits and machine AIs can feel the effects. Once per session, as a maneuver, a character may consume a flask of Ambrew to heal strain equal to half their strain threshold. They also add a positive dice to any discipline checks the consumer makes.
Yeah, it shows the flask of Ambrew, and for me it's like a little keg that I have with some.
That's pretty good.
Not like a Saint Bernard under
So,
your neck, like a dog,
Yeah.
like a rescue dog.
So yeah, so that will help you with strain. So strain will come up usually in like different social situations as well. So it could be your character's struggling, so he just downs a beer. To be fair, which is what we all do. Now we need to determine how much ambits you have, which is your currency. Do you have like a D20 to hand or a way to determine this?
1 second.
True D&D player, he's got one. So while we're
Of
doing
course he
this,
does.
I just like I am drinking a grapefruit IPA, and
Oh,
this could quite easily be one of my favourite beers I've ever had. This is a good old beer.
what?
It's
Sounded horrific.
when I bought it, I was like,
Ambrew?
I like yeah. This is here's my Ambrew. Yeah, so it's a grapefruit, Rubus grapefruit IPA. You know, I looked at that. I went, I like grapefruits. I like beer. And put them together, I'm probably not going to like it. I'm a big fan. Yeah, and plus I think it's one of my 5 a day. So
Shall I film my role with my webcam?
No, well, you can do if you want.
we trust
or
you.
we trust you.
Maybe it's more fun.
There we go.
Yeah, sure.
So it's
okay.
you can see it's 25.
25. Oh dear.
That's it, but it's fine.
You've probably just spent all yours on Ambrew. It's fine.
yeah. Just really good Ambrew.
Yeah, it's the best.
So you've got 25 ambits. So if you want to put that on your character sheet,
Yes.
don't lose it. Just like you lost your plant. Now let's have a look. Okay, so you get starting experience of 90. So that's a bit less than everyone else, I guess, because giants are naturally stronger than everyone else anyway. So a bit of a balancing thing. So what did you spend your 90 experience on?
Yeah. At first, I thought about to do the mad thing and just increase my brawn to 5 because I said that I'm already the strongest man I can be. So I thought that would be cool, but I decided against it and put 1 point into brawn. So I'm at 4 brawn now.
Yep.
It cost me 40 XP.
Yep.
And then I chose not to add any additional skills because, as I mentioned before, I think the most important part of my character is fighting and punching. And
Okay.
I'm already quite good at all these things, I think, with my score of 4. So I decided to choose a little bit more into talents.
Okay.
Yeah, and in talents, shall I just start what I chose?
Yeah, if we go through what you want, let me know which ones you got, and I'll go through what they are.
In the tier 1 section, the first talent I chose is hard-headed.
Okay. So do you know what that one is, or do you want me to go through it?
You can explain if you want.
Yep. So if your character is staggered, they can use that talent. Even though a character is normally unable to perform any actions when they are staggered, your character makes a daunting resilience check. So that is like a very difficult resilience check. If they succeed, they are no longer staggered. The difficulty of the check decreases by 1 per additional rank of hard-headed to a minimum of easy. So for daunting, you roll like 4 negative dice against whatever your resilience is. So what is your resilience?
It's not good.
Not good at the minute.
I think I have to improve there a little bit in the future, maybe.
Yeah, so if your character gets staggered, you've got a chance for it not to be staggered
I thought
anymore.
it's a good fit for my character
Makes
because
sense, yeah.
he's brawny, he's big. I mean, that's a good fit. And the good thing about this talent is also that you can improve it at the tier 3 section and in the tier 4 section. There are better versions of this talent, and then you can not only remove staggered, so you can remove some other things. I think you can like resist the dead or something like that later.
Yeah, so hard-headed is ranked, which means it goes tier 1, 2, 3, 4. So you still get and 5. So you still need to go to 2 and to 4, but you get additional things once you hit 3 and 5. So let's have a look at tier 5. Tier 3, sorry.
It's 3 and 4. The
3
other-
and 4.
Yes.
So at 3.
Just to make clear, I did not
You can
pick
come
them
back from-
yet, but maybe it's interesting for the viewers. So
Yeah. So it allows you to come back from being incapacitated. So that's even obviously beyond staggered. You've literally been knocked out of the fight, and you've got a chance to actually come back into the fight. So that's pretty good. And then tier 4 is when you go past your wound threshold and become incapacitated.
Dead.
They can make a check. And yeah, they just pretty much come back to life.
Yep. Very good.
Yeah, it's pretty
Like
damn good.
All I've had visions of then. Have you seen Kick-Ass 2? When Hit Girl gets taken out by the big Russian woman and she just does herself with a big adrenaline shot and just fires straight back up. That's it. That's basically what I've got in my head. I mean, I've just clawed a reference out of nowhere there, but yeah, that's what I had in my head then.
Adrenaline shots. That's what the party needs. Sorted.
Just adrenaline.
So what was the next talent you went for?
Okay, the next tier 1 talent I chose is Toughened. Is it pronounced right? Toughened?
Yeah, toughened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Toughened. I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. My character is big, and he has to be tough.
Yeah.
And we plan to use him in the first row of fight.
Yeah.
In the front row.
Yeah, to
So
smash.
he needs to be tough, and I actually put 2 points into that. It's a talent that has several ranks, so you can put more than 1 point into it, and it will get better and better. And I chose to put 2 points into that, and with each point I put into that, I can increase my wound threshold by 2.
Yeah.
I really like the fact that you said. I really like the fact that you said you're going to be on the front line. You are the front line.
Yes, I am
it's
the front line.
you on your own, and then a few lines back. Yeah.
You have like little. It's like things like the whole party behind you is literally like this little goblin, it's a little elf, it's a stone,
And a Martian.
and a little Martian. They're literally all tiny creatures. They're all like between 3 foot and 4 foot compared to that. You're going to be a very odd looking party.
If things come really, really dangerous, I can just lay on the floor and be like a wall for you.
Like a yes, just lay on your side and we'll all hide behind you. Operation Human Shield.
I mean, you've got loads of room threshold now. You can take the hits. I like it. You've literally just brought yourself a wall along to every fight.
This is what the Guardians of the Galaxy should have looked like. They're missing a pebble.
It's an absolute dream team. So I lost track of how much experience you spent. Have you got more talents?
Yeah. I got tier 2 talents, and now the interesting parts come because the first section of talents were basically defensive talents, but my character want to smash things. So the first thing I chose in the tier 2 section is Berserk. That's an active talent I can use once per encounter as a maneuver. And when I do that, until the end of the encounter, I can add some dices to my melee combat checks. But the downside is opponents that attack me can also add some dices to their attacks.
Yeah, so that's a success and 2 opportunities that you get to add, which obviously means you're always going to be succeeding hitting potentially. Obviously, when you roll negative dice against that, and that could offset it. But the opportunities will allow you to trigger other abilities as well. Like I think I can't remember which one it was, but we went through one earlier. And then obviously on the other side, anyone that attacks you just gets a free success against you. But depending on your defense anyway, you're probably going to offset that most of the time.
It's a dice result what I add, right?
Yes,
not the dice. Yeah,
not the dice. It's the actual result. So it's a success added in. You'll obviously when you then roll, if you roll more failures than successes, that failure can still be offset against that one free success.
Yeah, really good.
So it's still
Okay.
good. I like that. Makes
next
sense for your
talent-
character as well.
Yep. I think so too. The next talent is Bowl Over. That's another active, aggressive talent that allows me, when I make a melee attack, after I engage an opponent, my weapon gains the knockdown
Yep.
trait, knockdown trait. And
Which-
even better, when it already has the knockdown trait, then I can use the knockdown without spending the needed dice results.
Yes. Let's see if it gives us a bit of information on the knockdown. I'm assuming that's in the core book, which I don't have easily to hand. But yeah, so chances are you're going to have to spend a couple of your opportunities to knock someone down when you attack. It'll be more easy to do if your weapon actually has that ability.
I thought that suits well for my rocket hammer.
Makes a
so-
lot of sense.
Yeah, exactly. If you're going to absolutely pummel someone, they're going to go flying.
No one's going to stay standing after they've been hit by a rocket hammer, are they? I mean, come on.
Okay, and the last talent I chose is from the tier 3 section for 15 experience. It's Sweeping Blow, my favorite actually.
Okay.
It's an incidental, so that means that I can use it.
Incidental. So what during a fight, obviously you each take turns. Incidental comes between. So it's something that you do, and it doesn't use up your action for that turn. So obviously with Sweep and Blow, it's just an action that you do as part of you attacking. So you would attack, and then do the incidental.
like a bonus action.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Bonus action.
Okay. Yeah, it makes that I can, when I make a melee check against a smaller target, there we have the silhouette thing again.
Yep.
Then I can hit another target with the same damage, if it's also smaller than me.
Nice.
Nice.
So my rocket hammer,
Just going to swing round in circles.
and that comes really good with the bowl over thing that I had before, when I can knock down several people at once.
Yeah, you should be
cool.
a one-man wrecking ball. It sounds like.
Yes, really cool.
You get everyone else dealing with all like the sneaky stuff, and then your guy just go flying in and just annihilate everyone.
It'd be like Kill Bill when she fights the Crazy 88. Yeah,
Yep.
you get that reference when she just runs into.
You love your little
I'm just
references.
pulling out movie references all over the place. It's this grapefruit beer. This grapefruit beer is raising my movie IQ.
Okay, yeah. So that's all your character's talents then.
Yes.
Sounds like you're gonna have a pretty well-rounded fighter there. So one of the things then, so your character is obviously going to end up in this party with the other 4 members. What would bring your character to that situation? Is it just you've bumped into them like on your way to try and find a clan, or obviously without knowing the story, just some kind of idea why your character would be somewhere?
I'm not sure yet, actually, because I did not watch all the other movies, all the other videos. So I'm not entirely knowing the other characters. So I don't know actually now.
Too much, because the actual way that the story starts kind of fits you perfectly. Your character might start a little bit different to everyone else, but you'll immediately be together. It'll be that I'll have like a little bit of an intro where all the others are together, and then you're going to be there as well.
As long as it's not, we're all in a bar, and then somebody gives us a bodyguard mission, and we've got to go to a cave.
The thing is, my character wouldn't even mind when apparently some people are there and follow him around. He doesn't know anyone. He forgot about them anyway, so.
Yeah, to be fair, it could just be your guy's just like man on a mission, and everyone else is just like, I'm with that guy.
Just be like, mate, I'm your brother. I'm your brother. I mean, can't you tell?
But yeah, actually, it will actually fit pretty well. So I think we've gone through all the characters now. So I'm going to finish off the story next. Well, I've got the story. I just need to go through some of like the different Genesis complications and how it all will actually work and how dice work. That's pretty much a fun one.
Yeah.
And then we'll be able to get
Yeah.
started with the actual story. So
Yes, the next part
pass
from
you
our
back
point
to
of view
Carl.
is you wrap up the story to at least to a point where we can get started. I think I've said it already, but just to clarify, so we've decided we are going to run this on Roll20, mainly because it's much easier to get like 6 videos or 6 video streams, and the centralized play area. For anybody that's seen Roll20 before, they'll know straight away why we want to use it. For those that haven't, it's fundamentally an online role-playing game platform that has a centralized board view for everybody to see. So the DM controls it, and there's an area where the DM can share information, share maps, share images, and it's perfect. It's perfect built, but it's purpose built for role playing. So I think that'll be a really good platform for us to use. We've since realised that we can use some of the Genesis stuff. So there are inbuilt Genesis player sheets. So I think my next thing is, while Steve's finishing the story, I'll get everybody's information into customized player sheets. So everybody will have all their player sheets all ready to go for the day we start. And then it's, I think the next video is the big one. It's the introduction to the campaign. So yeah, I mean,
I'm excited.
yeah, me too. And you know what, I think we've picked a real good bunch of guys. Everybody that's on is committed to it. We're super excited by it. I mean, we purposefully asked people that are big Keyforge fans first and foremost. But again, just good people that can have some fun with each other and smashing out some sort of role-playing campaign and ruining Steve's life. That's
I'm
the
looking
plan.
forward
That's
to it.
my plan is purely to ruin your day.
I
No,
just love the power I'm going to have.
yeah,
As soon as you start
that's
messing
it.
around, mate.
Look at his little face. Oh, yeah, you just
So drops a hammer. And you're dead.
So yeah, I think that's it. We'll wrap up the video. Just from me, thank you, René, for joining. Super excited to have you on board. For the
Thank you
last
for
5
having me.
videos, Steve. Yeah, thanks for taking the guys through the videos. You're obviously the one with the information. So I think this is it now.
Nice.
I think let's get wrapped up. Let's get started and let's play some Keyforge RPG. So from me in particular, I know from everybody else on the video, thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, again, thanks René for joining, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.
Right.
Bye.